I'm having trouble coming up with a good catchphrase for the intro of my videos. Like, I can't keep starting the video with, "Welcome to Life City Library." I might change that sometime in the future, but I guess that'll be a topic to think about later. Anyways, welcome back to Life City Library. It's your boy Lye Yosh. In the channel, I talk about interesting psychology and science that you can use in your life to make it even better than it already is. I just posted a pretty long and informative video previously in the past couple videos called How to Make and Break Habits, where I talk about scientifically tested and proven methods you can use and incorporate in your life to make good habits like eating well and break bad habits like procrastinating. If you haven't watched that video yet, I think you'll have an even better prior knowledge of what I'm going to be saying in this video. So you should pause this one and go watch the video titled How to Make and Break Habits. The video turned out to be longer than I had expected, so I can try to summarize what I said in the video without spoiling the entire thing. Well, if I try to do that, I guess all I can say is that I talked about how to make something that you want to continue doing into a habit and how to break out of something that you want to quit. I know that was a terrible summary, but yeah. One thing that separates this video and make it educational actually is that unlike most videos out there that tells you you must be disciplined about habits, you are weak if you can't achieve your goals. Unlike, these unhelpful claims like this, I use scientific evidence and psychological knowledge to do what I do, which means tips like you must use motivation or willpower to accomplish your goals will most likely be smirked in this channel as methods that ain't gonna work. And I'm not gonna talk about why this is true because I've already explained why using motivation is a terrible idea when you're trying to make or break a habit in many of my previous videos, but I still get people coming up to me and say, "Yo, Yosh, motivation and willpower can solve anything in life. You can talk about my story. It'll be so motivating." Now, I do appreciate their enthusiasm, but this is where science and particularly psychology gets interesting because what worked for one person or even few people will often not work the same for many others. In other words, using willpower and motivation to accomplish difficult tasks may work for these people who are, full of energy, but will not work for the great majority of people because it's based on personal experience and not scientific data. I might make a video sometime in the future talking extensively about this basic statistical and psychological, for that matter, misconception, but not right now because right now I have a more interesting topic I want to talk about. Today's video is about this specific and important technique about habit making that I kind of forgot to talk about in the previous video. I mean, to be honest, if I added this technique to that video, I would have made the entire thing super long, even longer than it already is. So I think I made the right choice by making it a separate video. Anyway, the scientifically proven method regarding making and breaking a habit is called pre-commitment. I don't think many of you have heard this term, so let me explain in detail. In simple human words, pre-commitment is a habit development technique where you put a safety net in case you experience unexpected trouble. And before I explain what this is about, let me repeat what I've said in the previous video, that this technique, along with the other techniques that I have already talked about, does not rely on your willpower or motivation. Because if you've already watched that video, you will know that motivation and willpower are both raw food. They expire very easily, very fast, and hence they are unreliable. So like the techniques I've talked about in that one, you will not need a strong emotional power to successfully accomplish this. Alright, now let's talk about what pre-commitment is all about. Okay, so when you try to accomplish something or make something into a habit, like studying for a certain amount of time, or working out for a certain amount of time, or avoiding a distracting snack you see. As for me, a habit that I want to accomplish, and one that I already have using this technique, was studying in Starbucks without buying anything from there. But yeah, when you're trying to make or break a habit, you will most definitely face some trouble that distracts you or becomes an obstacle that hinders you from achieving your goal. In my case, the Starbucks drinks or maybe my phone were the distracting but addictive sirens that I have to be careful not to hear their voices. If you didn't understand what I just said, don't worry about it. It's not relevant to the video. But yes, distractions are virtually unavoidable. unavoidable because they're all over the place, and you can rarely have the luxury to be completely absent of their existence. So, how do you defend yourself against them? This is where you can use pre-commitment, in which you think ahead of certain times or situations where you might get distracted, and prepare a line of defense beforehand. I'll give you an example. So let's say I want to read for an hour every day, and because life is rarely predictable, unexpected things happen, like a long call from my parents out of the blue, or I get called to work without any notice, or I suddenly get super hungry or sleepy, or my house suddenly catches on fire and burns down. These unexpected events can certainly happen, and if they do, I'll definitely get distracted from reading. To solve this issue, I can get creative and come up with a number of different methods, like if I suddenly get a call and I see that someone important has called me, then I would hold the book in my hand the entire time and talk with that person, so that I would constantly remind myself that I'm in the middle of the sentence and I should get back to it. And if I'm reading on my phone, then I would set a timer for, I don't know, like 10-15 minutes to talk with that person. And once that timer goes off, I will say, hey, I gotta go somewhere, can we talk later? And end the call to continue reading. And after I finish the daily requirement, I will call or text that person, letting them know that now I'm free. And if it's a call from someone who's not important to you, or you don't want to talk to them at all, you can just hang up and continue reading. Another example is if I'm studying at nighttime and I get sleepy or tired or lazy. Remember, this I cannot expect in advance, and I can't count on myself to force through and motivate myself to keep doing that activity. If this happens, I feel myself getting sleepy and I feel that the material I've just learned is easily slipping out of my mind. If this happens, I can stop there, but I'll make sure to wake up earlier than usual for the exact time I've lost the previous night. So if I lost 30 minutes and went to bed 30 minutes ahead of usual time, then I would wake up 30 minutes earlier the day after to finish that section or chapter or module, whatever you left off. So yeah, if I'm supposed to study for an hour or finish a chapter last night but got sleepy or distracted, I can certainly stop there and sleep. But whatever I didn't finish the previous night would be my first priority that I would do the next day, first thing in the morning. That way, you'll be able to finish last night's portion right away and start fresh to tackle today's portion, even though you have to do a little extra work today to cover up. It's at this point where some might start wondering, okay, so the technique pre-commitment is essentially thinking ahead of time against an unexpected adversary, right? But my life is super complicated and I have to make like a million pre-commitments that I gotta watch out for. I can't keep track of all of them and notice them at the right time. That's too hard. And yes, I do understand your concern. There will be a million things happening in your life, in anyone's life. For example, you get an unexpected call from someone, or you get hungry or sleepy all of a sudden, your baby or your pet pees on the floor and you have to stop whatever you're doing to clean up. An airplane can crash through the wall and make a huge mess. Yes, life is full of surprises. For those of you who are wondering about this, I have for you another video that you might want to watch later to learn how to defend yourself against unexpected adversities. And if you want to know the entire mechanism of how this trouble happens and how you can fix it, you can watch this video located down in the description called How to Make and Break Habits. However, this video is pretty long, so for now I'll give you a keyword or a key concept that you can focus on specifically when thinking about how to continue your activity despite experiencing multiple hurdles within the day. So after you finish this video, please go check it out to learn the entire package. But the overall idea of this entire thing, if I were to give you a tiny spoiler of this video, is that although many people say that the best way to stay on top of your goals and achieve whatever accomplishments you want, although many say that you have to be strong-willed, or if you want it so bad you will be able to accomplish it, or whatever, the best way to accomplish a goal is to make it a part of your system rather than relying on emotional fuel. Because if we're being honest, emotional powers like motivation, that fuel tank will go empty pretty fast, especially when we're faced with a difficult challenge like keeping a year-long streak of eating healthy food, because these goals are difficult to accomplish in the first place. So that's why you essentially make it into a system. You study for that test or practice that activity at a certain time of the day without you even thinking about it. Whatever endeavor you're practicing, you automatize it, and hence you make it into a habit. Throughout this process, emotional power like willpower or motivation is completely unnecessary. That's one of the key takeaways from this video, but obviously there's much more to it. And to learn about more of these psychology and science on habit making and habit breaking, you should definitely go check this video out. It's in the description, so yeah, go check it out if you're interested. And since that served as a video recommendation for today, let's move on to today's book recommendation that I'll recommend you read if you're interested in this field of habit making and breaking in more general sense. Today we have two books. They're called You Are Not So Smart, Why You Have Too Many Friends on Facebook, Why Your Memory Is Mostly Fiction, and 46 Other Ways You're Deluding Yourself by David McCraney. Yeah, the number 46 might have sounded intimidating, but just keep listening. Remember my example with how people fail when they try to make or break a habit through willpower and motivation. They think that they can accomplish hard tasks by using willpower or emotional power. But scientifically, you pretty much have around 50% chance of succeeding this task. Yeah, your motivational fuel is worth no more than a coin toss. And hearing this, you might feel super down, cursing your inability and calling to the skies, "Why are we so flawed?" But what if this was meant to be? Not only are you super delusional and biased for a reason, but it's also even a gift. How can this be a gift? How can this be a good thing? If you want to know why this is the case, then I recommend you go check out You Are Not So Smart, Why You Have Too Many Friends on Facebook, Why Your Memory Is Mostly Fiction, and 46 Other Ways You're Deluding Yourself by David McCraney. And then my second book recommendation that I recommend you read together with You Are Not So Smart is You Are Now Less Dumb, How to Conquer Mob Mentality, How to Buy Happiness, and All the Other Ways to Outsmart Yourself. This is also written by David McCraney. This book is like a part 2 of You Are Not So Smart, as it continues talking about the many ways we fool ourselves and how that's not only natural but is actually a good thing. These two books are written like a dictionary. Wait, no, that was a bad example. But like a dictionary, each chapter is independent of each other, so you can pretty much start with any chapter you want and end without even finishing all of them. Just pick out the ones you feel interested to read about in the moment and come back to it when another issue appears that you are interested to learn about, or a sudden unexpected lightning flash of curiosity and intellectual extroversion strikes. Yeah, I strongly recommend these books. It may not seem like it to everyone, but it really is a baby's first steps for those who are interested in psychology, and honestly for anyone who can read letters and want to know what the heck is going on with them. Okay, that was it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching the video until the end. You've been watching Life Study Library. I've been your host, Lye Yosh, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.